Hello everyone. Today's Monday, and as I always start my stream, I say that this means that we are watching our young stars. Today, there's only one of them. It's Fatality, and we are going to watch her participating in the tournament, the arena, Chess Fight Night arena, and we're already into action. So we have King's India. I think this is not like the one of main variations, not the like some magistral one. So it's just Black even decided to promote bishop on b7. This is not quite usual, I would say, but in this sequence of moves, this may be okay. But I don't like the b7 bishop in this structure, to be honest. I think that it's a little bit out of position. Because it's now facing the d5 pawn, and it will be difficult to find like some way for this bishop to make something useful for black. So maybe the possible route is b7 to c8 to f5, likely, but this doesn't look like too fast, and now it's not even real after e4. So yeah, but black now has to solve some problems here. Knight e5 is ambitious. I'm not sure if this kind of like the change of the pawn structure is in favor of black, really. Maybe I'm wrong. The knight will go to d6. This is very good, obviously. The knight is the best blocker out of like all pieces. Rook d2 is played, and this move is useless. So white doesn't know what to do in this position. This is a good sign for Fatality. I'd maybe think of some plan like b4, a3, b4, rook b1, b4 rather. Try to open up the play in the queen side a little bit. In this occasion, both black bishops will be out of position. The g7 obviously is like on the other side of the board without some possibilities to help. And the b7 bishop is just, despite being in the queen side, is just only hanging but not creating some threats. And yeah, now black finally find the plan, but maybe it's too late already, because now knight is already on d6. White's rooks are not in the place where white want them to. So maybe white would rather have the rooks on b1 and f1, and this was the starting positioning of the rooks. So actually white wasted like 3 tempos and made position even worse than it was. And that's why I think that black's position is okay now. So f5 is played. This means that we take some space. Also, as I already said, bishop now goes to c8. Of course, there is no f5 square right now, but at least bishop can go to d7 and help black to play b5. b5 will really help black, so it will... So all white pawns, key pawns like e4, c4 will be hanging, and white will just be defending everything. And black can really think of some decent plan. At least black can play rook f7, rook a to f8, so h5, bishop h6. So black actually has a lot of useful moves now, and I can say the same about white in this position. Knight a4 is played. So the bishop is the knight is like... Knight was hanging and the queen was defending knight and the pawn at the same time. So it's... I'd not say it's a sacrifice, it's definitely a blunder from white. And this pawn was key. Now black at least can play e takes f3 and then play e4, and then the bishop on g7, which was one of the worst black pieces, becomes one of the best pieces in the entire board. Actually, if white plays f takes e4, I will lose material after knight takes e4, simply. E takes f3 is a threat, and so white has to think of something smart, but I guess it's too late already. Hello guys, hello everyone who is watching our stream. Hello Tarantino, hello Ir Sultan, hello Paulo. So b takes c5 is played. I don't think that we really have to count e takes f3, we can just play b takes c5, and that's actually what happened in the game. Now we take the pawn on f3, and well, actually this is not such an easy win for black, so black will at least have to work a little bit to convert it. Yeah, knight f5 is relatively obvious because we just don't want to lose the pawn on g6, and we don't want to play g5 either. Just in case, not to give white an opportunity to even give some checks. Bishop takes f5 and d6, yeah, so... Yeah, what's up, man? d6 is played. So yeah, we can just take, maybe play queen e7 or queen f7. Fatality decides to give check first, so let's white decide where to go, h1 or f1, and try to like make her own plans as a result of this decision. Black can play bishop d4, no, the pawn on g6 is hanging actually, so yeah, rook g2 is nice. So rook g2 was pinning the d6 rook, so because of the checkmate on h2, and white blundered the queen, and that's a very good start for Fatality. So she is about to win the first game of the tournament. I think queen c6 is the easiest move. And yeah, and f2 is a checkmate in 2 moves, and she finds it. So well done. She wins against Aladdin, and their score before this game was 7.5 to 1.5 in favor of Aladdin. So this is a huge win for Fatality. This is not an easy opponent for her, and now she proves that she's at least a dangerous opponent. And the first game goes in her favor, and she's off to a good start. Leave the like, guys, says Paulo, and yeah, I can totally agree with that. Your like helps us to promote our channel, and also it shows that you like our content and you support the developments that happen in this channel. Aladdin is in chat, he says that it was painful. Yeah, it was, man. So yeah, the next opponent is a strong guy as well, but Fatality has a bigger rating, and also she's winning in this game, 6.5 against a half. The last game, though, finished draw. Wow, knight c3, is this a good move? b4 was possible, I think b4 was strong. Maybe a6 was pre-move for black. I'm not entirely sure what to do against this opening when we already played knight f3. And Fatality doesn't know that either, as I can see. She plays e4 and now takes on b5. So yeah, this is like quite a usual situation in this opening. In Russia we call it Volsky Gambit. In English, how's it called? Let me see. I always forget it. A Volga Gambit? No, it's not the case. There is some... Benko Gambit. Yeah, I remember now. Am I correct? Is this called Benko Gambit in English? So yeah, black plays queen b6. This makes knight a4 possible if we like to do this kind of move. At least we can think of it. A4 is played instead. Interesting. Yeah, now black has to take, because if black wants to develop the knight on b8, she has to protect the a6 pawn by exchanging it. So yeah, and white decides to take with the knight. Black's knight goes to a6, and to be honest, I think that black really have a decent position. Because if we compare this position to what black usually has in Benko Gambit, I think that it's a little bit better. If you guys don't know, that Benko Gambit is a special opening where black sacrifices the pawn. So white has an extra pawn, but this factor doesn't give white an advantage, at least a big one. So this pawn is sacrificed on purpose, and black just wants the control of the A and B files. Even if white managed to exchange everything, and that's what you usually do when you have material advantage, you exchange pieces. But in this exact opening, you may have an endgame for white with an extra pawn, and the opposition may be still worse even after this. So this opening is very spicy, and also it's much more spicy in a blitz game, because it's very easy for black to find moves. Just develop pieces, create some like easy threats, but it's very difficult for white to manage the perfect defense and to keep this extra pawn or sacrifice it for some initiative or just whatever, just to keep the advantage. This is a very difficult task for white. Are you guys can stream on Twitch or just here? Yeah, in this channel we are streaming just here. Maybe if you are interested, at some point I will start streaming myself. I'll let you know in this channel, but it's not happening yet because I'm very busy, unfortunately, right now. 2 jobs. Yeah, and so, but in the CFN channel we don't have a Twitch. I think we will have it at some point, but not yet. Please let us know if you would like us to have a Twitch. Maybe this will be much easier for you to track our streams. Yeah, I defeated 2300. Congratulations. That's a big rating, really. When I'm playing lichess, sometimes I lose to guys with 2300. I guess it's around maybe 7 to 10% of the time. Queen d2. Seems like white is doing a good job right now. So at this point, I don't... At this exact situation, I don't see some good moves for black. I think black is forced to play knight a6 backwards. This is a little win for white. So black will lose 2 tempos. And also it will lead to a lot of exchanges on e5, then g4. I didn't really count it. Maybe white will even win some advantage, some material advantage. I'm not sure. But this is possible. So yeah, white is doing a very good job. Fatality is in a good shape today. Hello Arman, hello Uno. Yes, I like here on Twitch. I watch you guys wherever you want. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It's very, it's a big pleasure to hear that we have these loyal viewers. This is a big pleasure for me, and I think for the president as well. So we'll try to keep our content quality content and try as hard as we can. Well, actually, I didn't see this continuation, so black made the right decision, I think. So they made a lot of exchanges, but at least the king side is a little bit weakened for white. But is this really the case? So now I think white can play queen h6 and just go h4, h5 and try to turn the weakness in the king side into something good. But instead white plays knight a3. tries to rotate knight to c4, but I'm not sure if knight on c4 is actually better than on b5, but e6 is a blunder, and this really helps white. No, why not queen takes d6? Come on, the pawn was hanging. And now black could have played rook a6, but didn't do so, and white has an extra pawn, takes it on d6. If needed, white can always play queen g3, and it's not even needed because black blundered one more pawn, and now it may even end up in a checkmate. Now I think white plays queen g3, or knight e3 maybe. Wow, knight d6, that's ambitious. Fatality is not taking prisoners, she's not considering exchanges, she's just trying to checkmate black. That's ambitious, but I don't think that this is what you want to do when you have a time trouble. This may lead to some dangerous situations like this. The pawn on f3, it's not critical to lose it, but now white has problems. Rook c4 is a nice move. Oh no, it's not! I blundered it as well, but black will have to solve some problems. Oh, and queen f3 is so unfortunate. We still have some chances, but yeah, that's what happens. That's why white had to play queen g3 in the first opportunity when she could have done it, she should have done it. Oh, and knight f7 is a blunder. King g7 was winning the game. Oh, and rook is blundered as well. And black didn't take it. What happened? Black is facing a serious time trouble as well. Didn't take the rook. This is a huge mistake. Now we take on h7. This is turning into a thriller. Oh, and h4 checkmate is coming, and black will not defend from this. Rook takes a4 can be played, but I'm sure that black will not make this move. Rook f4 is defending as well, but h4 is still good, yeah. And we're having an extra rook now. Rook takes h4 and f4 is a checkmate. Let's go, f4, f4 checkmate. Nice. This was so lucky actually, guys. So yeah, Fatality, you see, she's not just too experienced because she's young. She had to know that you always have to prefer the simplification of the play when you have a time trouble. So you have to play as simple as you can. Just play queen g3 and screw it. Just exchange queens. You will have like some extra pawns in endgame, but at least this will be safe. She was playing for a straight checkmate, and at some point her opponent could just take the rook and end the game. And even without doing it, he had an extra rook, but still. He was he had even less experience, I guess, than Fatality, and so he just crumbled in the time trouble. Yes, we like to watch CFN and hopefully see Fatality and Pinkamena as a Russian, both as sisters. Yeah, I guess they are quite similar to them. But to be honest, I didn't watch too much of content of both as sisters. I think I saw some shortcuts in YouTube, but I've never been in their stream, honestly. So, but I know that they are really popular, and I guess they're very strong chess players and beautiful girls as well. So yeah, nice one, Fatality. Well, I'll argue that this one was nice, but she'll take it. A win is a win, so who cares? Wow, now this opponent is very strong, and Fatality actually really struggles against him. So he is winning 6-0 against Fatality, and he has 25.56 of a rating. This is a very huge rating. I guess this is a rating of a guy who has FIDE of like around 22 plus 100, 2250, something like this. Good evening, Brian. Good to see you here. C4. So yeah, here we have a classical Caro-Kann position, a typical one. Black decides to go for e5. This is brave, but I don't think that this was really needed. But I'm not an expert in Caro-Kann, so I may be wrong. White will have a bishop for a knight, but maybe that's on purpose. The pawn on h5 is weak, so maybe we will even have some advantage. Yeah, actually, like the more I look at this position, the more I think that this was a good decision from black. So yeah, bravo Fatality, this was impressive and mature. The only question is if white exchange and play bishop c3, then we can't play rook takes h5 because of bishop takes f6. We'll be forced to play rook h1, g takes f6, rook takes h6, and this endgame is a draw, but I think Fatality will instead take on d1 first, then take on h5. And she'll have an extra pawn in the endgame. Just play rook takes d1 first, Fatality. This is important. Let's go, you can do it. I don't mean to show off, but I have a perfect score against Fatality and Pinkamena. Well, that's impressive. I don't have a perfect score against Fatality myself, so that's impressive for me at least. Rook e2 is a weird decision. I don't see a reason why we didn't want to take on h5. I think rook takes d1, rook takes d1, rook takes h5 was a perfect decision. But this move actually puts white into some trouble as well. Maybe I even can say that maybe this move is better than what I offered. No, it's not better, I think, because white at least could have taken on f6 and played rook f1, and it will be at least the same. Bishop d4 is played now, but the one thing is clear is that black has an advantage in this endgame. Because the pawn on h5 is a constant trouble for white. Oh, now bishop takes f6 is a threat. And this will lead to equality. So if black wants to win, has to make something smart. King d7, why d7? King e7 was stronger, I guess. Now white will take on f6. If I read the intentions correctly. Yeah, and play rook f4. So that was the initial plan, I guess. But this position, despite the ruined pawn structure, I still wanted to be black in this position. Oh, and b4 is an awful move. Why would you make a move like this? Now the king is screwed and it can't go away, and c5 is a perfect response to that. Now Fatality will play f5 and the rook on f4 is really screwed. She can play king e5, then rook e4, and go in a pawn endgame at some point. Force it. a3 and f5 now. I think f5 is a really important move here, or king e5 instead. One of these two moves, it's very important to like play it. f5, nice. That's one of them. g4 is not working because it will be not enough compensation. Yeah, I think white is losing this definitely. Black just has to play accurate enough, and will win this game. King e5 now. This is a relatively obvious move, I guess. Oh, king e5. No, king e5 is working. There is no g4 because the rook is hanging on f4. So king e5 definitely. I'm just scared that she'll play rook a2. Rook a2 will be worse, definitely. The main variation is king e5, then king d1. And now I'm not sure if rook e4 can be played. No, it can be played. Still, rook e4 just wins the game. It's a victorious pawn endgame. And Fatality plays rook a2, and this move, I guess... Now I'm sure that black is not winning this. Just because the rook endgames are... They just provide so many chances to make a draw. And the king will now go to g2 for white. Arman, which phase of the game do you think Fatality struggles most? If you mean phase of the game, so opening, middle game, end game, am I correct? So if you mean this, she definitely struggles most in end games. And I'm saying this just every stream, and we can see it right now, how she struggles. So she had a very big advantage, but now I'm not even sure that black's position is better, really. Actually, white made a very spicy call. Rook f4 check and king c1. This is smart. I didn't see that coming at all. Now she has to play rook c2. No, no, no! What is this? Rook c2 check and rook takes c4 was fine. We were like out of some risk after this. It will be at least a draw. King b1 even. I doubt this move. Rook takes a3 is strong. Now b takes c5 and king takes c4. Oh, this is still fine. Black is not losing it, definitely. Has enough counterplay in this position. g4 is a mistake. Rook f6 was better instead. Now rook h3 can be played, and this is a huge factor. And f4 is bad. Yeah, at least because of this. And now king b3 or a4 even. King b3 was better. Oh, and now she can lose it. She had to play king b3 instead of a4. King c3 now, a3. Oh, I guess it's still a draw, but now black has to be very careful. No, it's not a draw anymore. Rook g6, rook g6. No, 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 no. That's not the move. Rook g6 was not working either. King a4 wins now. Yeah, this is rough. So you see, Fatality completely outplayed her opponent in the middle game, but in the end game, it all turned around. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's not only about Fatality, just all the youngsters struggle in the end games. So well, props to her opponent. He played really well. This was an impressive endgame from white. I still think that Fatality should have won this game by playing rook e4. It was working. If white don't exchange on e4, then black takes on c4, and there is even not enough counterplay for white. And if white exchanges on e4, you play king takes a4, then king f3 is a threat. So black has to play king e2, and black plays king d4, take on c4, and this is an easy win. So Fatality had to just make one more strong move, and she would have these points. Yeah, but there is a lot of time still on the clock. It's more than an hour left. So I don't think that this one game matters so much. That's a Grunfeld defense. Once again, this is a variation. I have no idea about the theory in. Well, in general, in this kind of opening, black. This is one of the openings of the like hypermodernism, which was first found by Nimzovich. So the idea is black give up the pawn control of the center and instead try to attack center with the pieces, and this is important. So you can't just give up the center without having a counterplay. So, and that's why the bishop is on g7. For example, if the bishop was not like there was no fe on keto and the bishop was on e7 instead, black's position will be worse. But now this is equal because white can't really play it like d5 or something like this. And black always have some moves like e5, some threats on the pawn, so that's difficult for white to maintain this control of the center. b6 is a weird move. This is a kind of move that you can't make when you have not enough center control. because this pawn will be very difficult to defend. That's my opinion. I'm not sure if in this exact position this is true. So yeah, there is a choice here. Intuitionally, I will prefer bishop e2. Yeah, I guess this is the correct decision. Maybe bishop d3 was stronger, yeah, because now bishop f5 can be played. Interesting. Maybe white can consider bishop d3 now. This is only the one exchange. I don't think that this really matters. Of course, you want to avoid exchanges when you have like more space on the board, but I think that one exchange is not too much. So I'm first now, but I'll soon lose. No. Why you're being so like so grim and so you don't believe in yourself? Come on, man. You can do it. Just try your best and you'll get the result. c4 is an interesting move, but isn't this too fast? So maybe black can... Oh, black even sacrificed on b6? I didn't notice it. Maybe black had to, because bishop b4 was on the cards. Otherwise. Rook e8. So that's because the pawn on e7 was hanging. And black just wants to take the pawn on a4. But I don't think that this will happen eventually, because white can play like queen c2, knight b3, and then I don't know, knight d2 or rook b4. There is a choice for white how to make this happen. Bishop b4 is played. That's an interesting move. Yeah, I guess the idea is to exchange and play. No. Why rook c6? Why not rook b4? Fatality, come on. That was such a nice idea. This is still a nice idea. We just have to take with the queen. No, with the queen. The endgame was perfect for white, because the pawn on a6 was really in trouble. Rook takes c4 actually is not this much worse, but it's worse. Still can play queen c2, but now she will prefer rook a1, I am sure. Arman, can you tell Fatality to play Bon Cloud? What is Bon Cloud? Rook b1. Wow, knight d2 was a nice move actually. And yeah, you see, that's the problem. So black has a pawn on a6. If it was like a pawn endgame, black will have much better position because of this. Even if we had like only minor pieces on the board, black will definitely have an advantage. But in this position we have rooks and queens, and this pawn on a6 is just a weakness. And that's why white has an advantage here. It's not a huge one, of course, because even if we win this pawn, we will be in an endgame with 5 on 4, and I'm not even sure that if this is victorious position, but at least we will have like an endgame with an advantage and without risk. On the other hand, we will eventually win this pawn. Sooner or later, this will happen, definitely. e5 is ambitious. I think e5 was mistaken because of d5. I think white had to take the risk and play d5, because after this exchange, black may have enough counterplay on the king side. So while white will be busy eating the pawn on a5, black will play like h5, h4, create some threats. And now, if white eats the pawn on a5, if the 5 on 4 maybe is victorious, then 4 on 3 is definitely a draw. So black just has to play h5, and if the minor pieces are exchanged, black are out of danger. The rook ending is draw. Bishop d6 is played. Very interesting. Maybe rook c8 check is possible. But black is planning bishop b8, I guess. Oh, rook c6 is better. Nice move. Rook c6 is good. And rook a6 now. Very good fatality. That's nice. But yeah, in this endgame, I don't think that white really has an advantage. There are just... We're too low on pieces to really like convert the positioning of them. Knight e5 is interesting. Now rook a7. Come on, let's go. Rook a7. The problem for black is that even if pawn comes to a2, there's not even a single threat for white. So white should play knight g5 and feel safe. Knight will go on e6 after this. Oh, bishop e7. Knight e6. And now white can try to attack the pawn on a2 and to eat it. Or to go for a checkmate. I will definitely play h4 here first. Just in case. h4, let's go. h4 is definitely a good move. Yeah, that's nice. Now knight d4, yeah, that's nice. And knight c2 can be played. Knight c2, let's go. No, she's not seeing it. Knight c2 is winning the pawn. Rook a6 check. That's the only move here. And knight b3. No, 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 no! She fell into it. Knight c2 was a good move. And, wow, this is such a trap. Come on. No, no. She was not. You see, she just doesn't know this idea, and that was the problem. F4, nice. G4, nice. I'm not sure now. G5 is safe. After G5, we'll definitely not lose. Knight F3 is safe as well. King D3. Yeah, let's go. We can just stay and relax. But this is not easy to play this kind of positions. There are not many problems here for white, but this is just... You can blunder by any move, just anything, and this is a stress for white to play this kind of positions. King G3, King G3, King G3, come on, nice. Knight F3, then Knight A5, King G4. Oh no. Oh yeah, King G4 is enough. King F2 is good as well. King G3, E5. Oh, why? No, no, why? That's what I was talking about. So there was not even too many threats here. But this is still a draw. And a relatively easy draw. But this will take so much time. And this is an arena tournament as well. This is problematic. I don't see black winning this. This is impossible. Black has to like make a huge gift for black. The moves are not even that difficult. White can just stay and do nothing. Yeah, 95. Black has to play h6 at some point. Now is the time, I think. Without it, we can't even like make some problems here. G takes h6. Not g6. Just don't play g6 and that's it. You'll have your draw. Nice. King f5. And yeah, now we can just stay in one place. Even if we lose the pawn on f4, this is a draw, so we are safe. But yeah, black is playing this for like so long. f5 is played. Why did we have to do this? King f4. Wow, f6 it was definitely not needed. White is playing aggressive despite not needing it. That's ambitious. King f5. I will laugh so hard if black loses. This will be so funny. Rook e1 is the only move now. Or rook takes f6, rather. Black declines the draw. Rook e1 is the only move. Oh no, it's not the only move. This is a draw as well. Knight g6, knight e5, f7, whatever. Everything is a draw. Yeah, now it's a repetition. A funny game we had there. I don't even remember now what was the start of this game. So Bone Cloud is e4, e5, king e2. No, I don't like this kind of opening, so I'm not the one who is telling Fatality to play this, okay? You tell if you want. I am like a chess player with some classical. I was educated in classical ways, and I don't like this kind of openings. So for me, chess is more about like trying hard than about having fun, really. Fatality is taking Berserk, and something weird is happening on the board, really. I'm unable to guess a single move for the both sides. I'll play like Queen b6, the 3 or 4 previous moves for black, definitely. Now the pawn on a7 can be took, and I don't see why this is not working, so that means this is working. And now the pawn on b7 can be took. No, but white are too scared to do this. For the exchange, bishop c5. Okay, one castling, yeah. So Fatality is berserking. That's why the quality of her play is a little less than usual. The pawn on b7 finally falls, but white like found the worst moment to eat this pawn, because now white loses on b2, and this pawn was key, because now just look at the pawn structure for white. This is just ruins and nothing more. Queen b6 is blundering the knight on d7. No! No! Fatality! And white just doesn't care. Now she sees it. Knight b6 needed to be played instead of queen b6. So yeah, now I guess black has a very decent position. Queen b3 was important to play. Knight b5 was a mistake because of this, at least. I wonder if knight b6 was working in the previous move instead of knight takes e5. Oh no, knight b6 will be met with queen b3, so that's fine. Knight takes e5 is better. And the exchange now. The pawn on e3 is attacked, and white is not defending it. And now we can at least play queen g5. No, she plays d4. Fatality doesn't want to go in the endgame. She wants to end it right here, right now. Knight a3 was a blunder, queen a5 was winning. But both sides missed it. And queen c5 is played. So yeah, the quality is low. Queen e7. What did I miss? I turned around for a second and white managed to blunder knight. Very interesting. 34 seconds. This is more than enough. Fatality is playing so safe. She wants the a4 pawn first, and everything else after this. So the exchange will happen now. No, queen d3, check, then queen a6. Oh, bishop f4 instead. Bishop e3. Ah, now she's looking for a checkmate, queen g1. Queen g1. And there it is. Fatality finds her checkmate and finds her win with a berserk. So she will get 1 extra point. And maybe she's coming back to the leaderboard. She was 26th place before this game. Now I guess she'll make up for all this. She'll gain a lot of rankings. The game is not starting yet. I thought all along Berserk was when you start with half the time and still have increment. Yeah, once I played in a tournament and I made this mistake as well. I thought that I will have 1 second of increment. And you see, the problem was in the first round, I was playing against a guy whose FIDE is 2400, and I won. And I was berserking, and I won. And this was such an easy win for me that I didn't even notice that I didn't have an additional time. And so after some more rounds, I played against a girl with a rating FIDE of around 1900, I guess. And I was just playing slowly, and I was sure that I'll have that 1 second. And at some point, I noticed that I don't get the additional time, and it was already too late. I was so surprised because, yeah, this is not too logical, to be honest. That's a good point. Yeah, you don't get the increment. Hi, Nathan. Still not paired with Fatality. Well, you have 42 more minutes to have this pairing. Fatality took on c6 and played bishop g4. That was I was originally thinking. But I didn't like this continuation because of f5. And then knight f6, knight e4. But black even decides not to play f5. Black plays rook e8. This might be even stronger, really. So what's our plan now? Lichess might need to change that. Well, they definitely made this on purpose. Because, yeah, if they were just, like, looking for some logics, they will, like, reduce the increment to half. But they didn't do it, so they made this on purpose. Because, you see, even if the tournaments, like, when you play tournaments with where all the players are, like, relatively close in terms of a skill, usually there are 2 types of players. The first type is the players who just like try to play their best chess and never take berserk, so 0%, and just try to like not lose a single game, just win everything. And the other type is the guys who play like double of their game count, just try to play as much games as possible, just take berserk and like playing maximum aggressive chess. And as I can say, this strategy usually works much better. Even without the increment when you take Berserk. This strategy is still working and working very well. So I think that's why they didn't add an increment, because this will just ruin the balance. You will just have to take Berserk every game to try to compete in tournaments. For example, I used to play these tournaments twice. So Fatality and Pinkamena were busy, and I was playing and commentating like myself. And I played twice in these tournaments, and I won every single game, both times. And once I finished in the first place, but once I was even lucky to get the third place. So you see, I won every game, and I was third place, and I was not even close to the first place. So that's why like berserks are just too imbalanced. What's the name of the tourney I might join? I think it's written in the description somewhere. So maybe you can find it there. You have to join the club, the Chess Fight Night Club, and then. But I guess I remind you, so I guess you already joined it. So just find this tournament, and I guess you can join. Арман, какой у вас рейтинг? What kind of rating do you want to know? So, what? Oh, it's a repetition, so it's a draw. So, if you're talking about lichess rating, I have two accounts. The first account, my rating is the main account. My rating is around 2600, I guess. In the like fake account, my rating is 27,500. And my FIDE rating in classical games is 23 and 80. In FIDE and in other controls in Rapid and Blitz, I don't remember, but it's lower than this. My maximum rating, FIDE rating was 2406. I'm sitting this out, Nathan. I'm playing horrible chess at the moment. Well, maybe you can recover. Let's go, brother. Does Fatality have a channel to follow or something like that? Regard from Mexico. If you are talking about like her private channel, I guess she has an Instagram or like VK page, but I'm not sure if I know all her accounts and if I'm even allowed to tell you. But yeah, if you're talking about the channel with the chess content, I don't think that she has a personal channel. Yeah, hi Julio, by the way. 8x before looks good now. Yeah. The opponent of Fatality is rated low now, so I'm surprised she didn't take the Berserk. I guess she's a little bit tired. The pawn on a3 is a weakness now. So we just want to exchange the dark squared bishops, and knight f5 is a good move for this. We are not scared to lose our castling. We'll take with the king, I guess. Then just play g6 or king g7 or something like this. Or otherwise, we can even take with the knight on f8. Not letting me join tourney yet. Well, I guess maybe you can join only the first half an hour since it started. I'm not sure, but that's just maybe it's like this. Queen b5. Why though? Why couldn't we take the pawn on d4? I guess Fatality just missed it. Pawn on d4 was hanging. We could have taken it. Rook a2. Rook a3 was better as well, I think. I guess Fatality is just a little bit tired right now. She's not playing her HS. Next time, no worries. Yeah, man, I'm glad that you're fine with this. We'll be happy to see you in our next tournaments. Arman, do you have any international master norms? No, I don't. I actually, you see, the problem is it's very expensive in Russia to participate in these tournaments because you have to pay. Well, give me some time to convert it. I want to be as precise as possible about this. I guess you have to pay at least 150. No, $1,500. No, what? I'm tired as well. You have to pay $150 at least to participate in this kind of tournament in Russia, and you will not get any prizes even if you win. And you have to like you need 3 norms, so that's why you have to make this 3 times, and this is already 450. And after that, you will have to like send the letter to the FIDE and pay 100 and something, I don't remember. So it's around 600, even if you do it from the like first time. So all 3 norms in the first time, and this will still cost you 600. And that's why the best way. So Russians usually just travel to Europe because you see it's so expensive because we don't have too much people with different federations here in Russia, and in Europe there is no such problem. So that's why it's much easier and cheaper. But once again, it's expensive to travel to Europe, at least. So it's still a lot of money, and I started to have some free money only in last couple of years, so I just didn't have opportunity to participate in these tournaments. But you see, I'm planning to travel to Europe this summer, and I'll try. I'll go like specially to make the international master norms. So I'll be preparing. I'll be studying chess for the first time in like I don't know 5 years, and I have a very good feeling about this. So I think I will achieve it with a relative ease because I think that I'm strong enough for this. I believe in myself, and when I participate in tournaments, this happens rarely. I guess like 3 or 4 times a year. I usually show a good chess, and I get good results. So I'm feeling it. I think I will achieve the international master title. And then you get no prizes, or it's a rather bad investment. Yeah, that's relatively true. So now we have some time trouble chess for white, but black's position is better. Fatality has an extra pawn, and she is like she has more time than her opponent, and her pieces are placed better. So every advantage in the world is in favor of Fatality here. But she's just thinking too much. She has to play a little bit faster, honestly. H6. White still has some fight in them. On h takes d7, I think this is not the best move White could have made. Not enough problems for Black. Wow, this exchange on g2, I doubt it. I would take on d3 instead. And I guess that was the initial plan for black. Why didn't black do it? King f5, b5, c5. Well, now the advantage... I would not say that the advantage starts to slip away, but this starts to become a little bit dangerous for white. For black. So black have to like be incredibly careful now, especially after this move. Whoa, and now I'm not sure that... Whoa. Rook c6 is a bad pre-move. I think if white took on g5 and then took on f7, I'm not even sure that black's position was winning. And now definitely it is. And knight f3 will just lead to a checkmate after this. Knight f3 check, fatality. And you have done it. Checkmate, rook b1. Nice. I offered draw in winning position against Aladdin. He berserk, of course. And did he decline your draw? I hope you do. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This really makes me motivated. So, yeah, I'll try my best. You see, in the couple of months, I think in the starting of May, I will also participate in the team championship of Russia. And this will be an important tournament as well. Of course, you'll not be able to. I'll not be able to achieve some international master norms there because there are only people with the Russian Federation. But this will be a very strong tournament. When I participated in it last year, I was playing in the board number 1, and I was, in terms of rating, with my 2400, I was 5th from the bottom. There were like 27 teams, I guess, and I was 5th from the bottom. And I ended up having 5 points out of 9. And I never let my team down, not a single time. So when my team needed me to make a draw, I made a draw. When my team needed me to win, I won. So I lost my points only in matches that were like we were losing anyway or winning anyway. So I guess I lost only 2 games. I just had a lot of draws. But honestly, my like opponents, they were just lucky. Because I had a victorious position almost every time, and I'm very bad in some time troubles, and this is a real problem for me. So I'm really struggling. So I missed so many chances, and my first game was just so unfortunate. I was so sad about this that I was just destroyed. I made the only move in the position that was not winning, and I made it after like having an extra 30 minutes added after the 40th move. So I managed to overcome the time trouble, and then I don't know what happened. So this just happens sometimes. So you just stop thinking for a moment, and I spent like 10 or 15 minutes, and I didn't see the only threat that the guy had in this position. But yeah, and it was a draw instead of the perfect winning game. This was the first time I was playing the Berlin variation, and this game was very good. But yeah, this tournament at least showed that I'm ready to compete with like strong players, and I actually managed to show some like good chess. So in every game until the like 25th to 30th move, I played almost perfect the first line of the engine every time. So yeah, I have very good expectations about this summer and about this May. uh, Let me Google what you're asking. I have never played in a sanctioned tourney. Is it a lot of fun or just stressful? What is sanctioned? I just don't know this word, I guess. Can you play the Russian Super League? No. I guess that if I understand correctly what tournament you're talking about, you have to be a grandmaster and not even and to be one of the best grandmasters of Russia, I guess, to play there. So I guess no. Yeah, the previous game of Fatality was unfortunate. Knight c5 was a blunder that just ruins everything, and she also took a berserk, so she couldn't overcome it. She blundered the queen, or maybe she just hoped that her opponent maybe doesn't see it. I don't know. What's your rating on lichess? In my main account, 2600. In fake account, 27.5. I rated tournament like an official tournament. I've only played in online. Oh, man, try playing like offline chess. This is a very good experience. You'll never forget this. Of course, this is a stress as well, but you'll get used to it at some point. For me, it's I have much stress in my games because of like the time travel. But usually people don't face that, and but you see, on the other hand, I'm a very calm person, so it's hard for me to be like emotionally destabilized. So I'm just like uh, I'm just working hard without any emotions, like I'm in surgery. And once again, most players are not like this. So in some normal situations, I guess they have more stress than I do usually. And you will get more stress, of course, because this will be your first experience. But I don't think that you will be disappointed. So try it, man. Coffee shops. Oh, you see, it reminds me of the history like of chess. So when people used to, even the like world champions used to play in like cafes, and these were good times because people had like they couldn't have time trouble because they were allowed to play for like not even a single day, even more sometimes. So they was getting like 8 hours for a game, I guess. So I'm just born in the wrong time, you know. Yeah, Fatality has a lot of medals. So yeah, she's a young, talented player. What else did you expect? Yeah, you see, I have so much time trouble mostly because like my play style is it's impossible to handle my playstyle without thinking too much because I'm not fighting I'm not really fighting for an advantage in opening, so uh, I try to just have an equal position that I know I'm good at and just try to like make the advantage out of nothing. And this is like when it works, so when I win with this playstyle, this is always an impressive game for a chess book. But sometimes I just like make everything right, and at some point I just blunder, and this is so disappointing. You see, for me, chess is not sport as much, but mostly it's like I don't know, it's a science. So I just study everything. I want to make the best move. It's important for me to play a good game. It's more important than to win it actually. I just want to play good chess. That's it. So I have some novelties, some important novelties even. I have some interesting ideas in openings. Sometimes there were situations when I didn't know the theory, I thought myself on the during the like game, and I found better moves than the theory recommends. Sometimes I did even like close the entire variations by just thinking. Fatality is really struggling here. At least her opponent is having 20 seconds. Maybe this will help. But yeah, after this blunder, this is just... It's not a blunder, I guess. Fatality is just trying to have some chances at least. Maybe Queen A1 is a little bit spicy. Let's go, Fatality. Try Queen A1. Maybe Black will just... White will do something stupid. Oh, nice one. She actually finds it. Of course it doesn't work. White at least can play Bishop D3. And yeah, that's what happens. Maybe go for Rook A3. This will not work. Yeah, Black will just play... White will just play H3, honestly. But let White find this move at least. Maybe White didn't see it. Queen C4 will be played, I guess. No, Bishop C4 instead. Now... Well, now it's rough, really. King H6? I will go for King H6, definitely. Queen C3 is played. Nice as well. H3. Now Rook A1. Rook A1 is possible. Oh, now I'm not sure that White's position is okay. Black is winning this. If White are mistaken. If not Queen F8 and Bishop E2, then Black is winning. Oh no, White finds it. Yeah, this is not too difficult really. So that's unfortunate, because if there wasn't this kind of resource, then White were really in trouble, because the threat was Rook takes F1, then Queen E3, and it's all turns around, and now White's king is in danger. But yeah, White finally had enough resources to close this game. Who is my chess idol? Well, in my main profile, it's written that my chess idol is Tigran Petrosyan. That's the coach of my coach, so the 9th world champion. His play style is very close to mine, so that's why I like him, of course. But I think that the most similar player to me, and in terms of play style, and in terms of strengths and weaknesses, I think it's Ulf Andersson. And also, surprisingly, this guy is one of like few guys who had a positive count against Petrosyan. They made all the draws, and at the end, when Petrosyan was already old, Andersson managed to win one game. So Andersson is just like me, the Ulf Andersson. So not the Andersson that was in the Staines times, but the Ulf Andersson who was in Petrosyan's times. He's playing just like me, so he's trying to make an advantage out of nothing. Black just blundered the pawn on c6, and Fatality didn't see it. Maybe she will see it now. No, she don't. She doesn't. The pawn is on c6, is under attack, and no one just cares. This is chess 2022. Yeah, so just not to just to forget the pain in my eyes, I'll continue my story, if you allow me. So, oh my god, what is this blunder? What was Black thinking, taking on e5? Come on, man. So yeah, I guess Wolf Anderson is my favorite player. And my idol, honestly, is Philidor. So the guy who wrote the first chess book, and he was so much ahead of his time, and he, I think, just like me, for him chess was a science. So he spent a lot of years analyzing some chess position. He managed to find some very interesting endgames. The guy was living before the first world champion, and he managed to find a win in the situation of rook plus bishop against rook. this is a very difficult endgame, an incredibly difficult one. I'm not sure if I will manage to find this win nowadays. Even like if I had like a couple of days, I'm not sure that I would manage it. And the guy managed to do it when the chess was like, I don't know, when people just knew nothing about chess. So he's an absolute prodigy. I think the most talented chess player of all time. If I could be born and educated, it would be the 20s. Everyone had money and a good time. It seems. Well, maybe I don't know. I can like think about these times only using my cinema experience, but I'm not sure that that's relevant. So maybe you're right. You always like Tal, you say? Yeah, Tal is once again a very like talented player. So in terms of the special component of chess, in terms of tactics, he was ahead of his time, and he was the strongest in his time. So some of his games, they are just absolutely uncountable even nowadays. So his like tactical game sense, combinational game sense is just on another level. Nice to have talked to you, and thank you for letting me join your team. Thank you, man. Thank you, man, for joining our community. We're glad to see new members, and also thank you for being so active in chat. You let me have fun as well. Not only commentating the Fatalities games, she actually won this one, but she had no business losing it because her opponent just blundered a minor piece. She was brave enough to take Berserk, and she does it once again. That's professional from Fatality, so she's very serious about this tournament. She wants to fight for her rankings. Good job. That was great. I still need to watch some of his videos from later. Theodore said pawns are the soul of chess. Yeah, he said that. If we read what what is like said about him, he was also a very nice guy. So was also a musician, and he was a professional musician. I guess he made most of his money with music, mostly. We know that. Yeah, you see, Fatality is professional, so no surprise that she's very serious while playing. You see, the main thing in chess, what is the difference between like strong players and less strong players, is the concentration. This is the key of chess for me. I'd say that, you see, I'm not a Philidor to be allowed to make like sentences like this, sayings like this, but I would say that the concentration is the soul of chess. I used to be a chess coach for children, and I made some experiments, and I was, even by knowing that concentration is so important, even I was surprised with the results. How much can people who barely can play chess, how much can they find if they just think? Just not make the first move that comes to mind, but to think, and they can find anything. 98 now is the only move. Yeah, like finds it. But white still has a huge advantage. G6. Rook A7 maybe is possible. Yeah, bishop takes b5 is threatening now. So black has to play something like queen d6. But queen d6 will be met with knight c5, I guess. Knight c5 will be strong, but Fatality will not make this move. She'll make the move rook d8, which is stronger than this. Nice one, Fatality. Now she got this. What about Nezhbedimov? His sacrifices were legendary. Yeah, you know, but as you can say already, like after everything I said, the tactics is not the thing that I like most in chess. For me, chess is all about beautiful, like strategical ideas, and tactics is just it just helps the strategy to work. So it's the it's an instrument for you to implement your strategical ideas. That's just my opinion. I'm not pretending to be like the truth in the last instance about this. Do you find it true that many good child-age chess players' skills degrade as they get older? Yeah, that's definitely true. I have a lot of friends who were growing up just with me, but at some point they stopped studying chess. Oh, and f6 was such a mistake. Black had to play e takes f4, then bishop d6. I'm sorry, okay, I'm continuing answering the question. So yeah, they were growing with me, but at some point they abandoned studying chess, and now when we play, so they are playing much worse. But to be honest, you don't need so much time to like come back to your previous level, I guess, if you just practice. You just lose the momentum, you lose the like form. Of course, you also become a little bit weaker, I guess. But you see, in some situations, for example, there are some situations when you just study a lot of strategy and you become like playing even worse than you were before studying it. But then you stop playing for like a couple of months, then you come back and seems like your brain just needed some time to think about all this new knowledge, and then you surprisingly become much stronger than you were. So I faced a lot of examples of this myself, and I saw my friend experience it as well. So yeah, that's how it works. The only thing is, after you become like 30 or 35, with every year you become weaker. So the age when you become old in chess is almost like it is like in football or just in any physical sport. So at some point your brain is just not good enough to count all this difficult stuff. My coach always says that it feels like I didn't experience that myself, so I can only like refer to my coach. He says it at some point before his blunder, before fatality. Let's go. Yeah, that's nice. He says that at some point it seems like you are like working, and the chessboard is a monitor of your computer, and you find yourself not seeing some pixels. So you're just lacking some things. You just forget it, or you just don't see it for whatever reason, and you make some blunders that surprise you that you could blunder this because you're just old. Something like this. There's some mistake first time when I see Fatality. I was thinking she's angry. Lately, I realized she's very focused while playing chess. Yeah, she's not angry at all. She's just a relatively typical young girl. So she's just like my classmates when I were in her age. Just yeah, we just have to if you just make a discount for the like time that I was living in, I was in at her age. There were like different times, so we didn't have this like computer era. It was only starting, so everything was a little bit different. Girls were not so much concentrated on makeup, for example, as it is now. So many things changed. But if we talk about her personality, she's just a young girl. But she's a professional as well. So that's why she's concentrated when she plays. So you see chess as a skill you acquire through study rather than a skill you're born with? Yeah, definitely. You may have some talents, for example, but your like chess education changes very much. For example, now the tactics is my like not only but the main weak side of my like chess chess profile. So I'm very bad at tactics. So I need so much time to count some variations that are relatively easy. And sometimes I miss something, I blunder something. So this is a real problem for me. But you see, when I was 12, I was considered a very talented chess player in Moscow, and the only thing I knew was tactics. So I was considered as a talented guy who only counts variations and who is incredibly strong in tactics. So by just studying with a coach who managed to like tell me what are the strategical basics of chess, in the process of this studying, tactics became it was my best skill in chess and it became my worst skill because I just became better in everything else. You see, and my playstyle changed and I don't need tactics too much, so that's why I stopped solving tactics, and I became, I guess, even worse in tactics than I was when I was 12 maybe. And it's funny for me that at some point I was like a talented guy in tactics, so I just can't believe it at this point. So most things that you can get from chess you get by studying, and it can be said about your playstyle, about your strength, about your talents, about everything. That's just my opinion. This is how it worked in my case, in cases of some of my students. Do you think this is important to solve puzzles to get better at chess? Definitely. Until you have a FIDE rating of about 1900 at least. So this is, I guess, 20 to 2200 if we're talking about lichess, 2000. Until you reach that level, mostly, like, nearly the only thing that you have to do is to solve puzzles. So it's all about tactics. You have to, the first step in chess education is you have to be good enough in tactics so that the strategy even like matters. Because if you are weaker than some level, you may do whatever you like, but you will just blunder in every game, and everything else like strategy will just not matter at this point. So that's it. Well, let's concentrate on Fatality's last game. We have a little like intrigue here. She has an extra minor piece. This is a relatively easy position, but Fatality has 8 seconds. This is a problem. Let's see what her plan is. He plays queen e3. I guess the idea is to play rook d3. c5. Queen f4 check. Oh wow, queen f4 check. I didn't see this resource. This is strong really. Knight takes f5 was possible, and it was strong as well. I guess she will go back to f4 now, and then play knight takes f5. This will be a professional way to end this game. No, queen g1 instead. And rook d3 now. That's even better. Good job, Fatality. And now it's a checkmate. Queen h2. and queen g3. So that's a good ending to our day. I will just answer the last questions that are in chat. So yeah, I'll just be fast about this. So yeah, solve puzzles as much as you can, at least half an hour every day, without missing some days. Or if you need to miss some days, you may like spend an hour a day solving tactics. But this is the most important thing in chess. Will Fatality and Pinkamena become grandmasters like the Polgos sisters and Muzichuk sisters? I hope so, guys. I hope so, and I'll always support them. I'll always like pray that this is the truth, and I guess you will support them with me, and you will support them in our next stream that will be on Monday. So see you guys. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.